Why do you guys think it kind of got away from you there? What were the reasons toward the end there?
And we gave up way too many layups. And I don't know how many turnovers we had, but they got 21 points off of turnovers, and you can't win games doing that.
Yeah, I just think we didn't come out ready to go the second half. I thought we were in a good spot. Started the first half, going in, towards the end we fought back, ended up with a 3-point lead. And I just think, the wheels started to come off a little bit. So I think that's something we need to grow in for our next game.
Do you guys feel like maybe, I guess Trey, you can answer this. This was maybe one of the more physical games that you've played in this season in terms of just kind of the fouling. I mean, I know they got into pretty quick foul trouble early on, but it just seemed like it was real scrappy today.
Yeah, it was real physical, and it was also just like a real fast-paced game. As soon as we scored, they were coming down right back at us. So, I mean, it was a tough one.
Trey, why were they able to get so many layups at the end? I mean, at the end, they were just coming down one after another.
I mean, we just let them get layups. I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, we just didn't stop them in the paint. We weren't physical. We weren't communicating enough. So it led to layups for them.
Tanner, do you feel like in the first half you guys, I mean, they really were fouling you guys way more than you guys were then? Do you feel like you at least were taking advantage of their mistakes early on? That's why you guys were able to have the early first half lead. I know it's still tight, but
Yeah, I thought, first half we were all aggressive. I think our shot selection is really good. We were getting in the paint and taking advantage of, being in the bonus. We shot a bunch of free throws. But I think, with that we were getting stops. So I think, if you're scoring and they're scoring, I think, that doesn't really pan out very well. So I think, defensively is our big challenge right now. Offensively, we can score with anybody. But, once we get stops, we can do a lot of damage.
Defense again, I think you brought it up, Tanner. 51 points in the second half. It just seems like that's been a theme all year, and I know Coach Nagy's been on you guys a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean, the second half, we're away from our bench on the defensive end. We don't got as much talk, as much communication. So in the second half, we usually struggle on defense, and we got to get that worked out.
Yeah, I think that's just a big thing, especially with a big crowd. It's different than practice. I think our voices don't echo whenever fans are in the stands. So I think we got to be louder, just communicating. And like you said, being away from the bench, it's on us. And I think me and Trey as leaders, it's on us. So we're the first to need to change and need to find what we need to work on. But I think that's an obstacle, but I think we're ready for it.
is there something about these games against Western Kentucky? You kind of mentioned it a little bit about the physicality, but just, I mean, it seems like you guys are two very evenly matched teams when it comes to just the head-to-head matchup. Last year really close, this year kind of the same thing. Is it just one of those teams that you guys are always in the battle with?
Yeah, I think it's just like the pace of play. They like to play fast. We like to play fast. So it's usually just back and forth offensively for us against them. So it's usually a close game.
We had 17 turnovers and you guys had 9 steals, yet only 2 fast break points. Were they doing something to stop you guys from running, or was it just by design you were not wanting to get out and run?
No, I think we always want to run, but I think the biggest thing is with their pressure, you gotta slow yourself down. You can't, I think they want you to play fast out of your comfort zone, and that's how they get turnovers. So I think with us not running it wasn't anything that they were doing. We just had to play smart and get good shots.
We're not good enough defensively. I mean, that's the impression. We just aren't. And I don't know what the swing was in the rebounds in the second half. 17. So they had 25 rebounds second half. We had 11. I mean, they just they just physically whipped us in the second half. At some point, I have to be able to communicate get the point across better about our defense. You know, you can't continue to score 84 points and lose basketball games. And probably, and you look at the last 2 minutes, the number of layups we gave up, it was incredible. It was, so, you know, I mean, we can, it just, you know, it's frustrating. Our guys are frustrated, but I'm not, it's my fault. And I've not done a good enough job convincing these guys how important defense is.
Scott, why is that? Right at the end of the game, when the game's on the line, I mean, they came down, if I had 4 or 5 layups, they got, what?
Why is that?
Yeah, why? I don't know what.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you there. I'm sure that our players would like to be different. We'd like to be different. So, you know, it could be strategy. And if it's strategy, then that's definitely on me. You know, I think we could probably just stand around, like I say, we could probably just stand around the zone with, you know, look like a liquor store robbery and do just as good a job as what we did there. You know, it's hard. That's hard to watch. It's hard to be good enough offensively and not good enough defensively. It's a bad feeling.
Were you considering fouling there with that 3-point lead?
Certain players we were, and then when it got down, you know, when it got down under 15, we had a chance to foul one of their players that we wanted to, but he didn't have it very long. And so, you know, at that point, you just guard and you get a stop. And he just blew right by us, shot a layup. It was incredible.
Scott, in the first half, I think they out-fouled you guys 14-8. Do you feel like, I know you mentioned you weren't happy with the defense, but do you feel like you guys took advantage of their miscues?
Oh, we shot plenty of free throws. We shot 13 free throws in the first half. I think we were 11 for 13. But you can see, you know, we only took 8 in the second half. The second half, they just whipped us. I mean, you know, you look at the rebounds, 25-11. Just physically, you know, they just played harder. And that's, you know, that's hard. It's hard for everybody to watch.
Is that just the nature maybe of this matchup against Western Kentucky last year, one of the more physical games of the season?
I don't know if that's the nature. I mean, they're good. You know, Steve's done a good job, and they're very athletic. They're very physical, and you know, we didn't match that in the second half at all. I mean, when you get beat by 14 on the glass, you got physically whipped in one half, and I mean that's hard. That's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Were you expecting them to put up 21 threes throughout the night?
You know, they haven't shot great from 3 during the year, but yeah, I mean, they took 25 against Buffalo. They, you know, they have some guys that haven't shot it well, but are continuing to shoot it. So I wasn't, you know, I figured, you know, they would do that. I mean, we want them to do that. What we don't want them to do is shoot layups, and they continually shot layups.
Did you notice anything specific in the second, like going from first to second, in terms of change of strategy for their defensive pressure? It felt like they were getting on to the Raider offense.
Well,
a little bit better.
I mean, we shot a better percentage in the second half. We had 8 turnovers in the first half, so 6 in the second half. So, you know, I don't think anything defensively they were doing. I mean, you know, we're not used to that kind of pressure. We don't see it in practice because we don't do it. But you know, they're averaging 17 turnovers a game forced, and so, you know, I thought we did okay taking care of the. You know, they scored 21 points off the turnovers, though. You know, it just is. It's hard to win games doing that.
Scott, Tanner was up here and Trey, and they know defense. They talk about we got to be better defensively. What do you? I mean, I know you're talking about it, and they're receiving it, but
I don't know. Maybe we're just physically not capable. You know, that could be a possibility that we're physically, you know, either not strong enough or quick enough, and so you know that's at some point I got to be able to make that change, and so that's on me. That's why, you know, I tell the players it's my fault, not theirs.
Coach, you mentioned the displeasure in getting out rebounded so heavily during the second half. Is any part of that maybe the fact that Brandon Nola and Adrian were in foul trouble? I mean, you seem to be in constant communication with that official on the sideline throughout the night with some of those calls.
Yeah, I hardly ever talk to officials, so you know, there were a few times I talked to him, but, you know, I don't spend a lot of time talking to him. And I don't think it's because those guys were in foul trouble. I just think that Western Kentucky just took it to us. Like they just played harder.
Scott, you mentioned last week it was you wanted to see better emotions from your guys. I know you mentioned the physicality, but did they?
I thought our emotions were okay. I thought, you know, when we had bad swings, we didn't panic. We didn't, you know, so I thought our emotions were better. So, you know, that's one improvement. But, you know, your emotions be great and you go layups. Doesn't matter what your emotions are.
Is that on the second line of defense too? I mean, they can get past the guard, but
No,
they're
it's
still the big man.
Yeah, it's not just on one player. It's on everybody. It's on everybody.